Hey everybody! Happy Tuesday and welcome back if you were with us this morning for the reading. I'm going to do a little bit of a history lesson today, so if you're not into art history, you've been warned. But I encourage you to stick around because I promise it'll be fun and I'll try and keep it kind of short. So we are going to learn generally about Van Gogh because we talked about him this morning. And then I'm going to give you kind of a fun assignment that you can use Google Earth and some of the virtual museums that are up right now, or virtual tours of real museums. So I have kind of a lot of things spread out here. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour, and then I'll start to show you the inside of my sketchbook and what I'm starting to work on, and give you a little assignment. And I really would love to know if you're here, if you're liking the assignments, what you're learning. So please feel free to send me a message. I don't even know how it works on YouTube. Tag me in things, I guess. Or just let me know. And definitely if you have questions or if there's something you want to see. So I'm mostly going to focus on landscapes. Vincent van Gogh is pretty famous for his landscapes. And as we talked about in the first video when we read his book, he did spend some time at the end of his life in an asylum. So this is a little bit more of like a grown-up book, but it's got really beautiful pictures. My husband gave me this, and I'm almost done with it. It's called Starry Night, Van Gogh at the Asylum. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, I just want to, and I did not create these. I will find who I bought them from on Teachers Pay Teachers and post a link below. They're really nice. I use them in my classroom, so if you're one of my students, you recognized them. And we're going to see Hokusai's Wave today a lot too, because these two are kind of connected. Van Gogh is really influenced by Japanese artwork. So we're going to talk about landscapes today. It's kind of like an art, a style of painting, a genre of painting. A great wave would have been a seascape because you can see the sea. We're going to look at mostly landscapes today, although you can do a mashup. There's skyscapes, there's cityscapes. So I just like these two because I love these two paintings. This is actually a print, not a painting, but this is a painting, and I like these two examples. So that's what I mean when I say landscape. It means what you see when you look outside. So we move these. So, and because I'm kind of a nerd, I like to use my picture of Hokusai's Great Wave. But Starry Night is probably his most famous painting, that and maybe Sunflowers and a couple of other ones. You've probably seen this everywhere on t-shirts, on the back of, I even have my little pop socket is a Vincent van Gogh painting. Let me see if I can find it. There you go. So you know, I should just leave it here. So Vincent van Gogh has become pretty commercial, which means he sells a lot of things with, well, he doesn't, he died a long time ago, but his paintings have become pretty commercial, but he wasn't popular when he was living. So Starry Night, and we talked about this earlier, was really influenced by the Great Wave. And the Great Wave was done by Katsushika Hokusai, a Japanese printer, a long time before Van Gogh was painting, but he loved his work and it influenced his paintings. So this is a really cool book. It is more of a grown-up book, but it has lots of beautiful pictures and talks about Van Gogh's life. So let's see if I really love the cypress trees. That's something that we're going to sketch today. So what Van Gogh would do is he would look at the same things, which is called a motif. He would look at the same images, and usually it was outside or a person, and he would draw them sort of over and over again. So these are the olive groves. So this is the same olive grove, and he painted it over and over again at different times of the year. So that's kind of a cool practice, especially since most of us are sort of stuck in the same place. Maybe I want to look outside my window, and when it's really sunny out, it's going to look different than a day like today when it's cloudy out, or a different season. So that's something that we can do, and it's kind of like keeping a journal of what it looks like. I try to walk by the lake every day, and the lake looks really different every day, so it's neat to take pictures, and maybe you want to sketch the lake. So we are going to be doing a landscape today. I'm going to put this book away for now. I'm just going to show you another example of the puzzle we've been working on in our house. We are going to draw this picture, and I have it in my sketchbook, and I'll kind of show it too when I'm drawing with my sketchbook. But again, he did 3 or 4 of these, I think 3 of these landscapes, and this was wheat field, so this is a field of wheat with cypress trees. And now you can put it together on a very difficult puzzle. This is taking us a long time. But one of the things that is so cool about Van Gogh is that you can really start to see, and here's just a couple of his. This is a Japanese print, but I just kind of had it in here because he's really influenced by Japanese work. One of the things that's so cool about Van Gogh is that he really has a specific style of painting. So especially at the end of his life when he kind of came into his own style, you can see he's really famous for his brush marks and the way he put paint on the canvas. So I don't know if you can see the whole thing, but the painting here actually is one I did when I was in college because I went to study in France. So I studied in the same places that Vincent van Gogh painted. So sometimes you learn a lot by studying a master painter or someone who's kind of made awesome works before us. So this was my study of one of his wheat fields. So I looked at his painting and basically tried to kind of learn how he worked by copying some of his techniques. So I made this about 20 years ago. And I just have these fun little buttons because, let's see if I can put those a little bit closer. It just kind of shows you again, here's that same painting again. Here's the wave. It just kind of shows you, here's Starry Night, how used to certain images we are. And once you start seeing them here, you might realize how much you see them in other places. So you'll have to tell me interesting places that you, and if you are a student in my room, you know that I have a bunch of these up in the room. I'm going to put these away for now too. So what I want us to do for our assignment, now that I've chatted a little bit and given you some background, is I'm in a virtual sketch club. I'm going to put some new books. Oh, I'm going to show you one more book actually before I give you the assignment. This is a really great book. I found it pretty cheap used. I think I found it for this is kind of a banged up copy, but this is Children's Book of Art. See, there's the wave again. There's Vincent van Gogh's bedroom. There's a really nice page on him. Here's some more of his work. This is one of his portraits. So this is a really great example. You can really see the brush strokes. And in French, it's called la touche, which literally means the touch. So you can actually see where his brush touched the painting. So they give you some little activities. They kind of give you some self-portraits. You could look at your bedroom and do a similar sketch. This was his bedroom that he sketched. But I love this portrait of him. And then here is Starry Night too, that really famous painting of his that we talked about. So I want you to kind of look at these, but you can look these up online too so you can get nice big images because we're going to use these in the assignment. So I'm going to put that away. And again, yeah, this is a really great book. I'll just show you quickly. If you want to learn more about art history, you can definitely find it used. It just has lots of different periods of art. So I think it's, oh, and there's the wave again. Some old. So if you want to learn, there's some block printing, and we'll do a block printing lesson too. But I know I'm kind of showing you the same images over and over, but it's just kind of to reinforce how connected some of these people are. And here's his sunflowers. So Vincent van Gogh, you can see he's pretty famous. I mean, pretty much every art book that you get is going to have something on him in it. So I'm in some sketchbook groups. Here's my wave sketchbook. I'm just kind of starting this one. And one of our assignments, well, I'm in a few different groups. And so I got some ideas from those because a lot of us, well, most of us are stuck at home, at least right now. And we're not able to leave and get inspired by things. So one of the groups I'm in is the Met Museum. And the Met, you can just follow them on Instagram. They have something called the Met Sketch. And I can put these in the comments. And I'll have to show you this the next time. I did make a sketch of one of these, of the wave. But they recently did a cool assignment where they dropped a pin in Amsterdam, which Van Gogh is from Amsterdam, even though he ended up living in France the rest of his life. But they dropped a pin, and then we followed the pin, and you could kind of tour the streets in Amsterdam and sketch something there. So that was one group that I was in. And another assignment a different group gave was to go into a museum and do kind of a mashup of two different paintings. So like a lot of people did this cypress painting, and then they had maybe a woman sitting here, or they turned it into Starry Night. So they had, instead of the background, they had stars. But I think it's interesting to do, I thought I'd kind of do a combination assignment. So I started sketching this one. The reason I like this landscape painting is because you can get pretty involved in it. Like there's lots and lots of mark making and lines. But I also like that it has pretty big shape. So I think these landscapes are nice to practice on. So I've just done a really rough sketch, and then I will paint this afterwards and share it with you. But one thing that does help me when I'm looking is you can see how the landscape is broken up. So kind of think about proportions, sort of like a fraction. So this is almost a third, right about here. This is a third of the whole paper, which in art they'll use thirds a lot. So that means the paper is basically split up into three. So you can see I kind of measured it with my pencil. Then you've got these little pieces going down here. I like to use my pencil to kind of line up the lines and help me think about the right angles. Then, and if it helps, you can even draw like a light line down the center to make sure that your things are balanced. So the tree is where your eye really goes to here. I mean, it goes all over, but the lines lead you up to the tree. The tree is that beautiful dark green, so I want to make sure I have that. And then there's all these beautiful swirling lines and these nice bushes. And the bushes are a good chance to practice texture too. So texture is how something looks and feels. So I haven't done too much of the texture yet in here, but I'm going to do that with my paintbrush. So this is my very quick sketch. So I want you to find one Van Gogh landscape and sketch that. And then I want you to, well, let's say Van Gogh landscape or portrait or something he made. And you can just Google Van Gogh paintings. And then I want you to go somewhere virtually, which means I want you to take a tour either by using Google Earth, Google Maps, I guess Google Earth is the right one, or there's so many cool museums that will let you tour different places. So different museums, and then you go to the ones like at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, you can zoom in really close to the paintings. So I want you to go somewhere virtually and then draw something that you have. And I guess they don't have, something should be inspired Van Gogh. So maybe if you want to look out your window and that's your landscape, and then go visit Van Gogh virtually, or maybe you want to, it's up to you, but I want you to go somewhere virtually like a museum or Google Earth. Maybe you even want to walk around your own neighborhood, or maybe you want to go to Paris, or maybe you want to go to Africa. And if you need some ideas, let me know and I can send you some cool spots. But I want you to think of somewhere with Van Gogh. So this is my Van Gogh landscape. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to put in here yet. I might do something. I walked at Bradford Beach today and saw some really cool things. So maybe I'll put that into my landscape. So that's my assignment for you. I know that I've been rambling a little bit, kind of thinking through it. This is the one thing I really miss about teaching in person, is that I can kind of change my ideas or add to them if I forget something, because I always forget stuff. But since we're doing the best we can, let's leave it there. So this is my sketch. I will show it to you when I'm finished tomorrow. So I have my Van Gogh landscape, and then I'm going to virtually explore something somewhere and add something into this landscape. So think of it like a mashup. And it could be your neighborhood, and maybe you want a Van Gogh tree coming out of one of the houses, or maybe you like the Van Gogh sunflowers. So I can't wait to see you do. And I will write Van Gogh in the comments so you can see how to spell it. So yeah, and then I'll give you a couple links. I don't know the best way to put them yet, so if you know a better way, let me know. But I'll just put links to the museums and some Van Gogh pictures that you can explore. So I think that's all. I'm going to start working on my painting, and I can't wait to see what you do. I'm going to close this up. I'll leave it there so you can see. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll check in tomorrow. Bye.